Hey everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 17, Episode 16. Welcome to the Freak Show. Yeah. That's a pretty appropriate title for any one of these housewife episodes, right? So we are back in OC, and we start with Shannon visiting her chiropractor and showing him this giant bruise she has on her elbow that she got while she was in Mexico. It was when they were swimming with the sea turtles. Rather than jump in the water like a normal person and she wouldn't have hurt herself, she kind of slid down the side of the boat and probably banged her elbow on the way down. Anyway, it's pretty nasty, though. Covers her entire elbow. Oh, okay. Emily is here now, and it looks like it's at a gym, so I'm slightly confused at this point. All right, well, after getting their bones cracked by Dr. Tim and, I don't know, his assistant, Emily and Shannon sit down to have a talk. Actually, side note, before I move on, I have to say, Dr. Tim crosses a line for me. First of all, don't greet me as, hey, beautiful. Ew. And don't cradle me in a hug afterwards. No, thank you. That was weird. Dr. Moon wouldn't have done that. All right, so like I said, they're sitting down to talk. Shannon asks Emily if she has talked to anybody since Mexico. And she said she saw Gina yesterday. She goes, yeah, she was really hurt by everything that was revealed. And, with Heather, she feels like she put in the effort in that friendship. And then she gets pushed away like she doesn't matter. I'm not sure what she's even referring to. Is she basing this on the fact that Tamara said that Heather called them losers? Because Heather actually named the woman that she said was a loser. Apologies to Noella, whoever you are. Meanwhile, we are at like a Halloween or costume shop with Gina, Tamara, and Jen. So Tamara and the two women that are under her spell. Gina is having a Halloween party because Halloween is my favorite holiday. And Tamara's going to be a scary clown, so not dressing up. And Gina says she was feeling inspired by the Cirque du Soleil acrobats. Also, meanwhile, we check in with Heather in her new 5,000 square foot rental home. Terry comes home and he's like, hey, how are you? Good, I'm feeling better. And then he goes, how's the new kitchen? Silly me, I thought he was talking to Heather. No, he was asking their personal chef, who said, it's fine, spacious. She and Terry sit down and she tells him about how in Mexico, she was just attacked by everyone, basically. Then we get a montage, and Terry goes, Gina thought you called her a loser? Heather's like, yeah, and that's not even something I would say. Like, that's not one of my words. And I wouldn't say it about them. Okay, well, it is one of your words, because in Mexico, you told Gina, no, I didn't call you and Emily losers. I called Noella and Jen losers. So apparently loser is one of your words. In Heather's confessional, she said, I have never thought of Gina and Emily as anything other than friends. In Gina's confessional, she said, Tamara doesn't lie. She just saves information. Okay, well, first of all, she does lie and has lied often. And second, is that a friend if she saves information about you for an opportune moment? I mean, let's say that's the truth. Heather called you and Emily losers. So Tamara's sitting on that information for what? A good camera moment? And you're okay with that? Like, that's who you want to be friends with? I don't know. Cut back to Heather and Terry. And Heather goes, Tamara, Vicky, and Shannon hardly even talked to Emily and Gina when they first came into the group. And Terry goes, oh, so now the alpha girls are speaking to them. Heather's like, yep. Now the head cheerleader, Tamara, came back and she's giving them attention. And Terry goes, wasn't there a movie like that? And Heather goes, Heather's. Side note, that is exactly what I accused Heather of doing at the beginning of the season. Sucking up to Tamara and Shannon because they were the cool girls. And she was the one who gave Tamara a break when Gina said, oh, so Taylor and Tamara were making fun of your IMDb. And then you took Tamara into the bathroom and said, tell me the truth. did you say anything bad about me, my career or whatever? And Tamara swore she did not. But she did. And we all saw it on camera. And, you're going to see it at the reunion, I guess. But you gave Tamara the benefit of the doubt. So I don't know why you're surprised that Gina's doing it now. Tamara is a slippery one. That is for sure. Okay, now we're jumping back to the conversation between Emily and Shannon. Emily says she thinks Heather can be kind and generous, but that now she's seeing this other side of Heather. In Emily's confessional, she said, I'm sure Heather called me a loser. It wasn't Tamara, because Tamara admits to what she does and then apologizes. Yeah, and then does it again. How, you guys know Tamara? Come on. Okay, back at the Halloween costume store. Jen said, I feel like Heather has an image to uphold, and she's like constantly trying to protect that. Tamara, let's just say I was malicious and mean. Okay, let's. I'll try to imagine it. And I was saying that mean stuff about you guys in New York. Why wouldn't Heather then sit me down and say, hey, that's not very nice? And then I would be like, oh my God, you're right. That's horrible. What scenario are you playing out? Because that's nothing like you, Tamara. Anyway, cutting back to Heather and Terry, Heather apparently just notices that she got a text from Gina 20 minutes ago asking her to meet and discuss what happened in Mexico. Heather's very upset that Gina would believe Tamara. Again, I get it, but also you believed Tamara earlier, so... Gina wants Heather to admit what she said and then apologize for it, or there is no moving forward. Okay, now we are with Tamara as she is preparing for a photo shoot. She has been asked to be on the cover of a magazine. I don't know, never heard of it. As Woman of the Year. Tamara, Woman of the Year. I guess it's for her CDB business? Unclear. Oh, actually, it's Women of the Year. There's like 12 of them. I mean, that makes a little more sense. But yeah, Tamara is very honored because she never went to college and she just was hoping that Cut Fitness was going to be the thing that got her out of the hole that didn't work. But this CDB business is taking off. And she thinks that her next business is going to be sex toys. Well, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure Bravo can get her in touch with the esteemed inventor of the dildo, Juicy Joe Giudice. I'm just saying, I'm seeing a collab in the future. Okay, now we're at Jen's house. One of her sons is getting a haircut. She's making like spaghetti casserole. I don't know, a couple of the other kids are hanging around. And in walks the town whore. Hello? Oh, a haircut? Cool. He's like saying hi to the other kids. I like your sweatshirt. So Jen said, I want to have a talk with you upstairs, okay? So the two of them go upstairs and she basically says, I need to know everything because it felt like Tamara was sitting on some kind of information. And as we know, according to Gina, she likes to do that. So Ryan said, I slept with her one night. That was 1.5 years ago. We weren't together and I was just doing what single frogs like to do. He's sticking to the fact that it was not a year-long thing, but I want to see those texts. I want to see the texts from the woman he was with the one night. Here's the thing, Jen, even if there isn't something more that he's not telling you, the stuff you know is really bad. You know that when he was with you at a concert, he texted her and said he wanted her naked in his bed. You know that. And just because you know it doesn't mean it's not terrible. For some reason, I think Jen is like, okay, I'm not being lied to, so everything's fine. Geez, if that's the kind of stuff he's going to tell me, then lie to me. I think I'd be happier not knowing. No, but seriously, it's not good. He's not good. He's not a great guy. He says to her, you say you want to move forward, but then you hitch your wagon to Tamara and she pulls you in reverse. You know what it is? Jen, she's so sweet, but she is a terrible judge of character. I mean, I'm not sure I've ever known anyone with worse instincts. Right? She keeps giving Tamara chance after chance because Tamara's her friend. Why is Tamara your friend? Why is TW your boyfriend? you need to ask yourself some hard questions. You know how when you have like difficult situations, people will say to you, well, just trust your gut. You'll know if it feels right, that kind of thing. Not Jen. I would just say to her, do not, whatever you do, under no circumstances must you trust your gut. Your gut is wrong. Okay, so Jen tells him that she finally met with the attorney that she likes. I'm assuming a divorce attorney. And she said, just bring in your retainer and we're all good to go. But Jen doesn't even know how to access $5,000. She never paid attention to the finances when she was married. I mean, does that surprise anybody that Jen just trusted her husband? Like, she's like a newborn baby. Anyway, in her confessional, the producer asks her, well, what about your yoga studio? She tells him that my partners and I don't get paid. Whatever income that yoga studio is generating goes to paying rent, utilities, the trainers. She does not get any money from it at all. So this just makes me think about that Instagram post that she got blasted for as being, tone deaf and insensitive, that she posted the day before Tamra was closing the doors on Cut Fitness. Do you remember? It was something like, grateful to still be in business through COVID and all that kind of thing. Yeah, but it's not a profitable business. Okay, is this all about Jen being like unreasonably insecure or something? Outwardly, it does not appear as though she has anything to be insecure about. However, what she says to Ryan is, why on earth would you want to be with this woman who has 5 kids and can't even figure out her own finances? Well, it's an age-old story, folks. We've heard it a million times. The town whore with the heart of gold. He says, I would give you the money. And she goes, no, I don't want anything from you. And he said,
you want to know why I would be with you? It's easy. 'Cause it's you, Jen.
Aww. Yeah. Discussion over. He melted her heart. And there's no hope for her. Oh, well, now we are with another enviable couple. Shannon and John Jansen. They're at Driftwood Kitchen having dinner. I guess Shannon met with Heather yesterday, she tells John, and she said she's got an excuse for everything. Bravo now gives us a never-before-seen flashback to that lunch, along with an excuse counter. 1, Tamra called all of us losers. 2, I couldn't tell anyone about my house because then they'd be like, oh, well, who did you tell? Who knows? 3, as far as your relationship, I would only ever talk about things that everyone already knew. Okay, well, I'm no Heather apologizer, but where's the lie in any of those things? And honestly, they're more explanations than they are excuses, in my opinion. The first one, yeah, Tamra did call them losers. 2, does anybody really think that if she signed an NDA that she could tell them about selling her house? I mean, like I said, depending on what was stipulated in the NDA, I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, but I'm assuming the buyer just didn't want their name mentioned. I don't think it's that she couldn't even mention that she sold her house. But we all know these ladies. Come on. All of these ladies know that she could not have trusted them to not leak it somehow. The safest thing to do was to not say anything until it was final. And the third thing about her just talking about the relationship about things that other people already knew, the only time that I feel like Heather may have said things that the others didn't know is when she was in the confessional talking about it after she was pissed off about it. Then she told us things like he doesn't spend the night with her. He, talks down to her, whatever, those kind of things. But somebody else also revealed that. It was either Gina or Emily, I think. Anyway, conversation moves to her girls getting into college, and she's like, next year I'm going to be alone. I can't believe it. It's going to be hard. It's really just hitting me now, John. And he said that, yeah, it'll be good. We'll have time alone together. We'll go visit your daughters for sure, wherever they end up. And, we'll have more time for each other. He also told her he loved her. So it was kind of nice. Okay, this next scene is at Tamara's house, and Jen and Shannon are over. Shannon has brought her new colonic tip, her new invention, the one that won't make your significant other fish it out of your butt. She goes, I have to create these new products so that I can send my daughters to college. Oh gosh. Okay. Jen is here because she hasn't pooped in a while. We get a flashback to them talking about it in Mexico. She hasn't pooped in days. So yeah, Jen is the guinea pig for this thing. But first, let's trash Heather. I'm telling you right now, if anything will turn this around and have the public rally behind Heather, it's going to be this episode, because all they have been doing so far is trashing her behind her back, like every single one of them. So Jen tells us that when they were in Mexico on the bus, that Heather told her she had cute feet and it was weird. And we see a flashback to that. I mean, it wasn't super creepy. She just said she had cute little toes, and I don't know. She meant it as a compliment. I don't think I would have been super creeped out by it. Some people are weird about their feet. Okay, fine, whatever. But she also says that one night in Mexico, she texted Jen and said, I need to have a conversation. So she comes to Jen and Taylor's room, and then she said, I'm going to go back to my room and get my soup. I'll be right back. And she leaves, and she never comes back. She doesn't call. She doesn't text. Okay, was she drunk? Because that would be my question. But anyway, yes, that was very rude. Oh, all right. Well, that's enough. Time for Jen's colonic. Shannon's like, you're going to try it out. And Tamara goes, wait, you have to stick that thing up her butt? And Jen goes, can I stick it up my own butt? And Shannon's like, yeah. Everybody starts cracking up at that. And then I'll spare you the details, but let's just say the colonic was a success. Okay, guys, it is now time for the meeting between Heather and Gina. And, ooh, it starts off frosty. Burr. There is barely even the obligatory, you look beautiful, so do you. I mean, we do get it, but it's icy. Heather sits down. Nobody's saying a word. Gina goes, well, you clearly look like you're upset, and I'm upset too. And Heather goes, okay, well, you wanted to have this meeting, so tell me why you're upset. And Gina goes, I feel like I was a really good friend to you. Heather, that's hard to believe since you took Tamara's word over mine. I didn't call you losers. And Gina goes, I mean, you can understand how that would hurt and that I would want that explained to me. And Heather goes, I'm about to explain. You ready? And she presses play on her phone. I'm ready. Okay, if you guys haven't heard this, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is damning. I knew this was going to happen from, a little teaser a couple weeks ago, but I assumed I was going to be disappointed because I usually am. No, this is damning. This is directly from Tamara's podcast with Teddy Mellencamp. This was on the air. It's a conversation between Tamara, Teddy, and Shannon. They must have had Shannon on the show that day. This is the conversation. It sounds like Tamara saying, we cannot talk about this. But later I thought I heard Teddy say, is this okay to talk about? And Tamara's like, it's out there anyway. It's fine. Something like that. But it sounds now like Tamara is saying, we cannot talk about this. Teddy, I talked about what Tamara did last night when we were leaving the place. And Tamara goes, what? What did I do, Teddy? Shannon, what did she do? Oh my God. Tamara, to who? Teddy, your entire cast. She loudly yells at me. She's like, you know what? We gotta go. I don't want to hang out with these losers. And then there's laughter. Heather stops the tape and she goes, that's us. She's the one that said it. Then we get Gina's confessional, and she says, okay, Heather, so Tamara called me a loser. If you're my friend, you should be telling me these things. Oh my God, she did. Are you confusing her with your friend Tamara that sits on information? That's what got Heather in trouble. She told you and Emily what Tamara said. You were getting your hair blown out, remember? Emily mistakenly thought she said Shannon, which I can maybe understand now because maybe she mentioned that Shannon was part of the conversation. Is any of this sounding familiar to you, Gina? This isn't like phone tag. This isn't that Heather got the wording wrong. It's on her podcast. We could all go listen to it right now, probably. Verbatim. I mean, you don't have to take Heather's word for it. Then Gina goes on to say, in her confessional, I believe that Tamra probably said it, but not in a malicious way. Okay, probably said it? You heard it, right? There's no probably about it. Again, straight from her podcast. And malicious or not, Heather wasn't wrong. Tamra called you losers. So there at the restaurant, Gina just said it like, it took the wind out of me. And I wish you would have just sat me down and told me. Okay, I suppose she could have done that. But the loser comment was about Emily too. So she chose a time to tell both of you when you were together. It wasn't on camera as far as I can tell. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure we would have seen a flashback. This was you guys getting ready somewhere. I don't know if it was at BravoCon or not, but at some point when there weren't cameras. So it's not like she saved it for an opportune moment to make good TV. She told you guys as friends. Anyway, they both tell each other they care about each other and they care about the friendship. Heather says she doesn't trust Emily because she thinks that Emily has gone to the Tamra School of Friendship. And Heather believes that Tamra is the root of all the issues that everyone's having. We get a nice montage going back to the beginning of the season, kind of proving Heather's point that she's at the very least, she's the kind of the cause between all of the issues Heather's been having with everybody. So then Gina asks her to please still come to her Halloween party, and Heather's like, I don't know about that. And she goes, well, you have to confront Tamra. All right, so it is time for the freak show finale Halloween circus party that Gina's having. And congrats to Gina for moving up the ranks to, being the one that gets to host the finale. Like I said, it is a circus freak show theme. She's a lion tamer. Travis is a lion. Emily is popcorn. And Shane is extra butter. Although what that means is he's wearing a black t-shirt with a stick of butter on it. Taylor and her husband are there. Tamra and Eddie, they're both evil clowns. Jen and TW are also a lion and a lion tamer, only Jen is the lion. That sort of tracks. Also, I think TW just wanted to show off the goods, little sneak peek. For the ladies, you too could be on the dick pic list. Shannon's a fortune teller. John is a magician who refuses to wear his top hat. No, the hat's not working. You can hear him complaining all night. He's carrying the hat, but he doesn't want to put it on. Just don't be a baby. Just put it on. It's a costume party. It is funny, though, that Bravo had like a little card calling everyone Gina the Marvelous and all these circus names. John's was just, instead of John Jansen the magician, it says John Jansen in a suit. Jeez, Matt and his girlfriend are there. Look, I love that Gina is having a great co-parenting relationship with Matt, but why do we need this wife beater on camera? Why subject the rest of us to him? He doesn't deserve it. He has no purpose. The children aren't there. You didn't need to invite him. So Gina's talking to Emily now, and Heather's not there yet, but she thinks she's coming, and Gina's trying to get Emily to talk to her. Emily really doesn't want to, but Gina tells Emily that she feels like she's being more aggressive than usual for Emily. And Emily goes, she called us losers. Then Gina tells her about the podcast. Emily doesn't care because Heather's been saying shit for 5 years. Okay, whatever. She also seems to be perfectly fine with Tamra saying it because when confronted about it, Tamra will apologize. Okay. And do it again, is my point. Why does it matter if she apologizes when the apology doesn't mean anything to her? Okay, well, here comes Heather and Terry now. Heather is like a Cirque du Soleil acrobat, it looks like. And Terry has a black t-shirt on that says event staff. Just when you thought no one could put in less effort than Shane. I mean, I prefer the butter t-shirt. Although I will say I'm definitely seeing clever ways that these women are getting their husbands to do a couple's costume with them. Shannon and Tamara are sitting down talking about Heather because nobody can stop talking about Heather this entire episode. They both talk about how jealous Heather is. And it's weird, you know, like, I don't mind if you're friends with Heather, Shannon said. And Tamara goes, and I don't care if you're friends with Heather. But apparently Heather's jealous of their friendship. And Tamara's like, yeah, because remember in Montana when we did like the high and low of the day, her low was that, you know, you and I were getting ready together in the bathroom and, you know, she felt excluded. Okay, so Heather's jealous. You've established that. Is that a reason to like hate her and drive her off the show? Anyway, now they're crying. They're vowing to never let Heather Dubrow come between their friendship. Okay. Now there's just a bunch of milling around. Terry is admiring TW's body. What percentage body fat do you have? And TW's like,
I don't even know. But for the low cost of $9.99, you can be added to my dick pic list.
I think I just turned it into a subscription model, you guys. For $19.99, you will get unlimited dick pics throughout the month. Oh my God, Taylor is trashing Heather now. What she did in Mexico was so uncalled for. She left us in our room. What? Weren't you like in for the night or whatever? I mean, look, saying I'll be right back and not coming back or calling or texting, not cool. I agree with that. That's very, very rude. But she didn't lock you in your room. I mean, you were free to go, right? Okay, now Jen makes a better point. She said, the only reason she bothered talking to us is because no one else would. That's probably true. Taylor sounds like a munchkin when she's drunk. A little bit like a munchkin from South Dakota, don't you know? I got news for Heather Dubrow. I've got wealthy friends in Beverly Hills. She left to get soup and never came back. It's so weird. So Jen actually goes up to Heather and she asks her if they can talk. And she brings her back to the table where Taylor is standing. So, okay. Well, let me get a drink. So the story is Taylor and Jen were going to go salsa dancing that night, but instead they stayed home waiting for Heather to return. Yeah. Someone they claim never gave them the time of day before. It gets worse. Taylor says her stepdaughter was waiting for them at the salsa place because she lives in Tulum. So you're telling us, I need to get this straight in my head. Taylor, you're telling us that you stood up your stepdaughter, you gave up the chance to see a family member that you probably don't see very often, I'm assuming if she lives in Tulum, to wait in your room for Heather Dubrow to return. Why? I mean, why would you wait more than 10 minutes before calling her, leave a message and say, sorry, we had other plans, but you never came back. Talk to you later. I mean, it might sound like I'm team Heather Dubrow tonight, but I'm team common sense. That's it. This makes no sense to me. Heather seemed kind of shocked and she's like, oh, I went back to my room. I gobbled my soup up real quick. And then I just sat down for a minute. I fell asleep. Okay. Again, rude and probably more indicative of the fact that she doesn't think very much of Jen and Taylor or their feelings, right? Would she have left Shannon and Tamara in their room, taking a quick little nap? I don't think so. Because as much as she and Terry, think, oh, Emily and Gina are getting attention from the popular girls now, and they're listening to them. Heather, you do the same thing. You would love to be a, quattro amiga, I think. I really do. And Jen, the new girl, and Taylor, a friend of, they can't really help your status here, can they? maybe I'm being too harsh. It's possible. But I look at that and I think, wow, that's rude. If it were me, I wouldn't have laid down for even a second. If I was that tired that I felt like I needed to lay down, I think I would have just called and said, listen, guys, I'm exhausted. I think I'm just going to call it a night. It's not a good reason. And when she heard that, she should have apologized. Instead of what she does, which is blame them for you should have come to my room then, she says. No. They should have just continued on with their plans. They should have given Heather as much thought as she gave them. You're in Mexico and you were going to go salsa dancing. That sounds fun. Go. You sat in your room waiting for Heather Dubrow? I mean, I think you guys might have had an ulterior motive as well. Maybe you thought you'd get some juicy information you could pass along to Tamra, Shannon. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of why on earth you would have sat in your room all night when at some point you knew she wasn't coming back, right? She went to go get her soup and come back. You can't reach her through texting or calling and you're still waiting? No, that's dumb. Anyway, no apology for you, Taylor. Heather actually looks disgusted that these peons wasted her time. She's like, no, you like you were an idiot to stay in your room. Okay, yeah, I'm calling him an idiot for staying in the room. I get it. Because they were. But I can say it because I didn't stand them up. Heather needs to apologize. Then she can call him an idiot. Anyway, Heather walks away disgusted with Taylor. And Jen, who didn't say a word the whole time, Jen goes after Heather and, brokers her own deal. Yeah. Forget her. You and I, let's be friends. Heather's like, I am happy that Tamara brought you into this group, but for the life of me, I cannot understand why you put up with what Tamara's doing to you. Yeah, I mean, Jen, you're too sweet for this show. That's all there is to it. You're not housewife material. You're a very sweet person who got themselves tangled up in a nasty situation with the town whore. It can happen to anyone. But I think your friend Tamara brought you on the show to exploit you. I don't like to think that it was planned with Bravo, but I do think that people have conversations with Bravo before to let them kind of know if something juicy's, going to be revealed on the show. I don't think it was a condition of Tamara coming back, but possibly. And you, sweet Jen, got caught in the middle like a deer in the headlights. Housewives is a nasty game. In Jen's confessional, she said, I understand Heather not wanting anything to do with me. All she knows about me is my scandal from Tamra. I'm excited for her to get the chance to know the real me. Oh, you sweet thing. One or both of you won't be back next year, so I don't know that that's going to happen, but you are sweet. Okay, so now the ladies are taking turns trying to ride a unicycle, and Gina's like, I'll go, it's my turn. She's got these thigh-high, black, sparkly, stiletto heel boots on. And Heather and Emily are standing next to each other. And Heather says, she gonna do it in those boots? And Emily goes, she should do everything in those boots. Heather goes, yeah, she should wear that whole thing 24/7. And they're kind of laughing. And so Emily turns to Heather and she goes, look at me. I love you. And she goes for a hug and Heather's like, it doesn't feel like it. Emily says, come on, let's go have a talk. They sit down. Emily, Tamara said you called us losers. And Heather goes, yeah, but why are you believing that? Yeah, especially after Gina just told you it was on the podcast. Emily goes, you said it. And Heather goes, about Noella. Not you and Gina. You guys are my friends. Again, sorry, Noella. Meanwhile, all night, really, Tamara has been keeping her eye on where Heather is and who Heather's talking to. She's very intently paying attention to this. And every time someone talks, Taylor and Jen are talking to her. And then, it doesn't go well with Taylor. And I think Tamara's happy with that. Well, I know she is. Because now she's like, oh, Emily's talking to her. Yep, the body language is not good. It does look that way because they're animated, but they're not yelling at each other. They're kind of yelling about Tamara. Heather goes, "You're listening to a girl who maligns your career all the time. She called you a party planner. She's not a lawyer." And Emily's like, I know. Wait, when was this? And Heather said, in Montana. Then we get a flashback to the Montana trip. We're in the car with Shannon, Tamara, and Heather. Tamara said, "When I met Emily, she told me she was a party planner. She's not a practicing attorney. I mean, she clearly hasn't had a case in how many years?" Okay, so Emily says, "My intent is never to hurt you, Heather. I'm rough around the edges." Now she starts crying and she's like, my sister and I, this is how we would poke fun at each other. This is how we survived our childhood. And Heather goes, "I know, you told me that before." And she said, "That's why it hurt when I thought you called me a loser. I've overcome so much to get where I am today and to have what I have." And Heather said, "I love you. I love your family. I felt left high and dry. And I don't know why we can't fix it. Let's fix this. Look, I will do my best. If I get offended, I will come to you and I will talk to you about it." So now Gina joins them. She's the lion tamer, so she's got a whip. And Heather's like, "Oh, no, you're not going to whip us, are you?" And she kind of puts her arm around Emily's legs. And, you can tell that things have now turned and they've gotten playful between those three. Tamara has also observed this. And she goes, "Shannon, I am boiling right now." So now the three of them are getting a picture taken together. And Tamara walks right up and she goes, "Oh my God, you're taking pictures with her now? Wow, that's so different than what you told me." She's so evil. Heather wants nothing to do with her. Heather, almost immediately walks away. So Emily says, "Yeah, we had a long talk. She said that you said I was a party planner and not a lawyer." And Tamara goes, "I did not say that. Where is she?" And off she goes, makes a beeline for Heather. Heather's not interested in how Tamara's going to spin this. Tamara will not let up. Tamara is in her face. And Heather goes, "What about your podcast when you called all of us losers?" Tamara, "I was mocking you." Heather, "You are laboring under the misconception that I give a shit about your feelings." Tamara, "I don't give a shit about you either." Heather, "Good, then let's move on." And Tamara's like, "Goodbye, bitch." We get a little bit more of the podcast where Tamara laughs and she goes, "It's actually an inside joke that only Shannon and I know about." And Teddy goes, "Oh yeah, right." So now Gina is talking to Heather and Tamara is talking to Emily. And Tamara goes, "Do you think I would say that about you guys?" I mean, yes. Emily goes, "I don't know, but tonight was supposed to be fun. I was supposed to be good." Gina rounds everybody up for a group photo, even if it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's like a family photo, you just have to round up everyone, even if they're fighting. I just need this one picture. And I would just like to say, I think it's very interesting that Shannon and Tamara both say, "Yeah, I don't care if Heather's friends with you. I don't care if Heather's friends with you either. That's fine." They definitely care if Heather is friends with Jen, Gina, and Emily. At least Tamara does. And then, of course, she accuses her of doing what she's doing, which is rounding up the troops and getting them against her. We have proof that Tamara kind of did that all season long to get everybody to be against Heather. So I don't know. But it is time for the season 17 wrap-ups. We start with Jen. Jen won a baccarat bet and was able to pay her divorce attorney retainer. Now she's taking on her biggest gamble, deciding when to move in with Ryan. Jen, sweetie girl, don't do it. Learn how to be on your own for a little bit first. I think you will love it, and you deserve that. Okay, next is Shannon's. With the twins in college, Shannon's House of Screaming Women is now a residence of one. Shortly after filming ended, Shannon and John broke up. ... Or did they? Shannon denies the rumors. Yeah, it's very confusing. To this day, I don't know if they're together. As we know, Shannon got a DUI. She was in an accident. Jeff Lewis said they were out the night before. John was there. Somebody else said they're broken up. They're just friends. I don't really know where they stand right now. I don't think they're good for each other. At the very least, I don't think he's good for Shannon. So I kind of hope they're broken up. But all right, next is Gina. Gina and Travis are officially licensed real estate agents. As co-workers, they are pre-approved to flirt on a daily basis. Ugh. They also expanded their family by one, a dog named Meatball. Who writes these? That was bad. Moving on, Emily. Annabelle's modeling career has taken off. Emily hopes she's a child star so Emily can retire. She also celebrated Heather's birthday in Los Angeles. The salads were free of sand and the water is now under the bridge. Okay, that one surprises me, and I'm glad. I just didn't think, well, I don't know. We still have the reunions to go. But at this point, anyway, it sounds like Emily and Heather are friends, so that's good. Heather's is next. Heather and Terry are looking for their next Orange County dream house with the help of a new agent, ... Their newly licensed son, Nikki, who is being mentored by Josh Altman. The HD network now has content, as does Heather's 2020's IMDb page. Okay, that was funny. Don't you guys feel like Heather is done with the show because she's got all this other stuff going on now? She's got her own network. And it's going to be like, I don't know, like a talk show or something, right? Or maybe it's sort of a Martha Stewart. I'm not exactly sure, but I think whatever it is, it's going to keep her busy. And I'm not sure what value Housewives has for her anymore. Plus, I would not want to have to go on vacation with Tamra. Life's too short, you know? Okay, and finally, Tamra's. Tamra has gotten closer with Jen, Emily, and Shannon. While her ducks are in a row with her friends, she thinks Heather can go blank one. Okay, that's interesting to me because they did not mention Gina. So Tamra and Gina on the outs? Interesting. I don't know. Anyway, what I do know is the seating for the reunion next week from left to right is Emily, Shannon, Tamra on one couch, then Andy, and then next to Andy on the right is Heather, Gina, and Jen on the other couch. So I don't know. I don't think, like, for example, Emily is on the opposite couch of Gina. I don't think they're at odds with one another. And it sounds like Emily went to Heather's birthday party, so I think they're okay. I don't know. Sometimes you just have to seat people where there's room. So it doesn't always mean, enemy camps. But I don't know. I guess we'll find out. There's fireworks to be had during the reunions. I know that from previews. I think it's just a two-parter, which is good. I don't think this needed to be drawn out any further than that. But anyway, next week is reunion part 1. So I will be here for that. I hope you guys are too. I hope you liked this recap. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And if you click on the bell icon, you'll be notified anytime I post something new here on my channel. If you happen to be an Amazon shopper, you can go through one of my links down below. Pick anything. You don't have to purchase that thing. And whatever you do put in your cart and purchase, I will get a percentage of that for being an Amazon associate because you went through one of my links. So I would appreciate that very much. For those of you who are already doing this and are sick of me saying it, I'm sorry, but I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.